Oh, thank you, Backslash. Yeah, this stream was more of me just working on stuff, but don't feel the need to stick around. This is one of those relax. I'm probably not sure how long it will go for. Maybe it'll be for 2 hours, maybe it'll be for 4. Oh, what was that scream? I didn't my alerts didn't show what that was. Oh, hi Max. Welcome. Oh, thank you for the subscription. That's what the screen was. Screen notification. How are you doing? How's your day been? Let me get my phone. Well, where did I put it? Got it. I have a few projects open for certain people who will turn up, who may or may not turn up. Be like, yeah, you wanted to see this project, here's the project. But I'm doing this stream mostly to like see also to get me working on some game stuff, because I have been busy working on it. It's just I need a reason to feel like a little bit of a pressure. Sorry, I'm eating dinner quickly. Just cauliflower and cheese. Thank you. A couple of Jaffa cakes. That will do the job. The projects that this is Magician's Feast, the last version I released. That's the new Magician's Feast. This is the card game, I believe. Am I quiet? I haven't changed the mic settings, so it usually is just this, but maybe it's because the music is too loud. Oh no, I changed the mic settings. Oops. Just now. Okay, 500. Let's still. Let's change it to 6. Okay. Okay. Well, now that's how it was before. Let me change it to 700. There we go. That's a bit louder. So hopefully that will do the job. Yeah, so for today, what's this error? Oh, that's not an error. Not being used. Tools, blah blah blah. Oh, I need to plug in my controller. And I have a monitor set up, but only for Switch 2 recording, because I have. Oops. That didn't break anything. Plugged in. What is plugged in? The Wi-Fi adapter for streaming. So this. We don't need the controller. Hi Colin, welcome. Yeah, no worries. This isn't a talky stream. This is a very, I'm gonna be doing my own kind of thing type of stream, so with some lo-fi beats in the background. Okay, so that was the bubble, so maybe I should fix that. This is a plugin for Godot that allows me to have text boxes. In the past, I think with Magician's Thief specifically, not this one, the old Magician's Thief, the dialogue boxes were entirely coded by myself, and there was a lot of work put into it, so it is nice to have something that I can take out the box and use it. Dialogue Manager. Hi Nathan. Just the default. There's a tutorial about this. Let me see if I can find it. Dialogue box. Godot.
In this video, I'll show you.
Yeah, you. If you're wondering where the Nathan came from here, I will post it. It's a pretty good out-the-box tutorial thing. Yeah, okay, so it does the text and then it just ends. Reset details isn't the right term for this. That's in script, sorry. We won't call it that, we'll call it end talk. That, then there. End talk. I think it might break actually. Have I been using it for anything else though? No, I guess not. This is a custom UI menu I made for myself. Just because I was doing the card game and I learned a lot about tweening and UI design, so I put together my own little menu. It doesn't do anything at the moment, but you can scroll from the bottom to the top and vice versa. and there's a little pop-in animation, and it might look like the sprites are just being stretched out, but what's actually happening is that it's changing. It's actually just an animation. I'll quickly show you. Here is the pools menu, and here's one of the pictures. So there's a small, and then there's a big. They're basically two different. Basically, it's two sprites. One, I'm doing like a little balloon effect, well, elastic effect basically, and what's happening is that when you hover, it does that elastic effect, changes the sprite, so you got that feeling of, oh, it like shrunk. Originally it did do that, but the problem is if you're working with pixel art, compressing pixels look ugly basically, so you have to make like a mini version of that. And that was, yeah, I did that for all of these. A little items box. Equipment. This thing. Book. Options. And return. So yeah, that's what that does. This is, yeah. I need to think about what I want to do next. The goal will be to figure out how to change the font size on this to be smaller. If I change that to 10, how does that look? The issue I'm running into... No, it looks fine there. I guess it is just that the font can be small. You're wondering why the font is huge. It's because in here... let me double check. Yeah, in here, I've got the actual resolution of this project is 480 by 270, the size of a PSP. And I'm using what's the term called? Yeah, canvas items. So I'm basically stretching it out to be by a multitude that fits the pixel art being stretched out. So if I put it down to like something random, the pixel art will look bad. So it needs to be scaled accordingly to match the pixel art. But yeah, dialogue boxes. I'm not sure that's right. Where's their padding? I want to clear out the padding on this box. Oh, that's okay. We can use overrides here. Usually you would create a theme, and a theme would be shared throughout all the other types of I guess in this case text boxes, but because this is a singular text box being reused for the entirety of the game, this box doesn't need a theme unless I end up reusing it. There's a rule in my brain, which is that do I want to use character? I might not use the character label. I scrap. Yeah, we're gonna not use the character label, but I will keep it like that. I may add it back in later, or I may position it somewhere else, but for now, we just want the box output at the right size. Was I saying something about a rule? Let me just do this. Let me think. Margin top. That should be 15, and that should be 10. And these are the response boxes where if you're playing a game like a visual novel or you have choices, that will pop up. I probably will not. This project is a more smaller scaled game, and the focus isn't that. It's a very linear game. But yeah, so now we got that. That dialogue actually coming from... Oh, it's here. Yeah, there's a whole documentation for this particular plugin that I need to properly look into. Alright, and then yeah, there's a glitch where if I do it so fast, the elastic effect doesn't happen. I guess I could. How do I fix that? I am a weird person, so in that I obsess over little details because I think all the little things can be fixed quickly. These things are not usually. You basically gotta learn when to prioritize certain stuff. When it comes to game dev, and knowing where to draw the line of, oh, okay, if this is taking too long, or if it's a thing that might not be there, I will not do it, if that makes sense. The common example I'll use is accessibility options. That stuff should come towards the later part of the game's development, due to the fact that at that point you can then look at your game and think, okay, what things can be done and adjusted for it. You can plant some seeds early in for it, but yeah, I'm fixing like random things right now. Like there was a thing I have a little server for me and my friends where I just post about this stuff. Partly because a few of them are game dev friends. Max knows about it because Max is in that. But basically, the last update I did was the menu, but I haven't posted about the bug fixes, which is, well, it's fixed now, but basically the animation, if you're walking and you press start, the animation would still run, so you will see the player still walking because I paused it mid movement. And now it should just, yeah, there's no. And there was another bug, basically, if you were holding a direction and you paused it, then let go of the direction and unpaused it, your character will still keep walking because it isn't checking the movement. That fix was easy. I think I can't remember exactly where I fixed that. Was it unpause? Yeah, it was unpause. It basically just fires the player input check immediately. Here, where it just checks if the stick is being held and then just sets the thing. So that said, input should always be checked on. That's okay. That's why that bug was happening. It was an input. I'm talking to myself at this point, but there was a thing with where this function, this fix, shouldn't be here because the player input, from my understanding, should be running at every frame. After talking about it with some friends, the input process is actually faster than physics process. So in theory, I could move this here. We'll just put past there for now, and then I think that this would be fixed. Yeah, okay, so that's why. And then let me just see if I can cause that bug to happen. So let's move that back in. I already commented it out on the main thing. Yeah, so that bug is still going. I wasn't touching the keyboard then. It was just... Yeah, it happens when you press the return button. Let me just double check why that happens with the return button specifically. So yeah, that saved me a line of code. I don't actually need to use this code anymore. It is because of that. So we can remove this. So that said, player input and player movement. Player movement is the velocity being checked, and then player input checks that. Maybe that should be before that, but let me see if that actually. Yeah, okay, that's better. Let me just show something interesting here, is that if you do it this way, the player movement, which is the velocity check, goes first, and then the input checks after. So what you have is, when you pause it and then let go, you'll see the character move just like a tiny bit. It's like, it's not really like an issue, but it's like, that's why that particular thing happens. The other one needs to run first before the other, basically. So now it won't do that. So just by talking over and talking through it, I was able to make. Okay, I'm glad I'm doing this stream now, because I couldn't for the life of me figure out why any of this was happening, and now that I'm talking through it, I'm just like, oh yeah, and fixing it live, I was able to solve it. So yeah, that you got, well, I'd say 10 minutes in, I already solved the problem I spent a couple of hours wrapping my head around. But yeah, now I understand how it works. Yeah, this needs to be hidden because the pause menu is here. It's in a separate scene, so when you press start, it loads it. That's why when I had it on visible and I hit play, by default it's on. You want to hide it, so yeah. I'm quite happy with that, actually. And I think a common thing someone will ask, and this is a thing I questioned, was with Magician's Thief, I'll use Magician's Thief OG for this. When you we'll boot this up on here, will it play any music? I hope not. Will it load, actually? That's a good question. What is the pause button on here? Okay, it's not working. Let me just check what the input. Start. Oh, it's P. Okay, I thought P was Oh, P was. Why did that do that? I'm not go. There's some noise outside. Oh, my mouse is not on the screen, that's why. Oh, okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, so the thing is, with this game and pausing, this game actually freezes the game. Like, it stops. It does, I actually figured it out. Always good to talk it through. Thank you. Yeah, it's, that was a odd thing that I never... I'm quite happy with that, actually. Oh, yeah, thank you. Quite surprised I solved that pretty quickly. But yeah, in this game, the code for Magician's Thief is bad, but it was my first like proper release, so that demo. So engine, I think is no. Oh, let me just quickly Google this. Godot pools game. What was the code that someone used? Yeah, it's .pools. So that's what I was. Where are you? It would be on the pause screen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is how a lot of people will do it. And I get it completely, actually. this pauses the engine basically, or the current scene, so it stops the processes and freezes it basically. So when you go into pools, the whole game within that particular, in this case, it just gets the current tree, so it's getting everything and pausing it. And the pause screen specifically has, where is it getting that from? Oh, it might be this actually. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, the pause function is set to always, so it always runs even when the game's paused. So that's how you normally would do it. But for me, this new game is a bit different. I was studying Deltarune and Undertale. Well, Undertale's actually not. Now, Deltarune's a better example there. I was like studying that and thinking, I want to do some funny things with the game. So like, oh, I got a notification. Why am my notification not showing? Where are you? Oh, thank you, Arik. Has it been 3 months? Wow. Hi, Michael. Wow, it has been a while. Well, thank you for still sticking around for my content. I will keep trying my best. Yeah. So normally the Magician's Feet, the pause screen that most people do, and if you're studying first time, using dot pausable works. I think I will probably not use that function. Maybe I might not. I'm not sure yet. RPGs are a bit different, so I'm trying to think this one through carefully. Because maybe Undertale and Deltarune's a good example. I was trying to think of it, but it's like they don't really have situations where something happens on the pause screen while the game runs. So that's not the example I'm trying to give. I guess for me it's more when I do that, something will keep, like, I don't know. I'll do something funny with it. Either way, this I'm just, I guess my challenge with this game is I want to see if I can do it without pausing the screen. So currently it pauses the character. I might change my mind on that actually. I can't think of a good reason for doing that. But we'll see, we'll see. Here for the cozy stream, thank you. Here for the cozy vibes. Oh yeah, you wanted to see that card game. I actually had it minimized. This was a... Let me double check how long, what this project was. Yeah, I had it minimized for you specifically because you asked about it. This was a project. I'm just trying to get my dates right so I can tell you how long it took to slap it together. Basically, I was burnt out on Magician's Thief, the reboot, and I needed a side project to work on. And basically, I was like, okay, I just want to do something like simple. And this is me we're talking about, so nothing ever turns out simple. Most games never turn out simple. Magician's Thief was supposed to be a generic platformer. It blew up to be something much bigger than that. Alright, yeah. I'm looking at my Discord posts with my friends. I made Balatro 2. It was on the 5th, so it was... Oh, what? Right, okay. It was like the start of last month. And then... How long did it take? Oh, it was just a month project, basically. I kept working on it. I basically worked on it for 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, with that in mind, this is the idea. I made Yu-Gi-Oh! Balatro as a joke. Well, not as a joke, I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I didn't know how to make a UI-based game, so hit play. I am using a placeholder picture of Deaden from Off, because I had an idea for the style of the game. And I'm using Pokemon cards because I spent ages trying to figure out how to visually represent types. And I remember thinking, well, Pokemon had, at least the Game Boy games, had that nice little pixel art style, but they had color palettes. To me, it was like, oh, that'd be a cool idea if I can indicate what type of card it is based on the color. And yes, these said Yu-Gi-Oh! These are Yu-Gi-Oh! Card names because I used Yu-Gi-Oh! Placeholders beforehand. So yeah, and you select that, it will tell you how much damage it will do. And then I can activate this, which will give a bonus. The visuals do seem nice. How does the game itself work? Let me just double check the card thing, because there's a thing about did I have it set to shuffle? No, I didn't. That's why I was thinking, why is that doing that? And the enemy is coded to only use one card. Well, actually, I don't want to play around with that. So the player deck is here. Card manager, which I've got up here. Yeah, I'm not kind of proud of this code because this is the core, this is the game itself. Like, the entire run actually takes place in this particular set of code. It's not too bad, it's just that I thought it was simple, so when I was prototyping and putting things together, I ended up like naming a lot of functions in such confusing ways that as I continued to build and iterate on it, I was like, where is this function? Where is that? What does this do? Why did I code it like that? And it's mostly just due to, that's what happens during prototyping. You're not trying to make a clean-cut, perfect game. You're trying to make a rough example of what the game could look like. That has its pros and cons. It's more dependent on how long you want to spend on it. Sorry, to answer your question though, how does the game itself work? It works like Balatro. You take turns. Your opponent. I've coded the opponent to only use one card at a time. Right now, that was the last thing I did on this project. Oh damn! I don't often see single block code. I should probably, yeah. It's a bunch of functions. They're getting cold, but there's a lot of things I wish I could go back on, but this was just more of an example and seeing if I could do it within a set time period. Yeah. Oh, this is Godot. So this is GD script, which is kind of also just based on Python. You can use C# from my understanding if you're familiar with Unity and you wanted to move over. It's a lot cleaner and nicer for me to read the code and build on it. Yeah, okay. So how do I explain this? Let me just reload my hand until I get something that's actually good. Oh, that was actually good. Never mind. That was an example I wanted to use. I was trying to. Yeah, so you can select cards, and if you right click on them, you can set a defense, which adds a shield to you. But yeah, so if you had 2 of these, then you get a defense bonus, and then you can attack like that. But you can add this, and then yeah, it'll give you the little bonus. It gives you a shield, and it deals damage to the opponent. You've got a shield, and that shield only lasts the turn. It's like the Spire does it. where Slay the Spire lets you build a shield, but that shield only lasts the turn, and when it's your turn again, that shield disappears. So that's where I got that idea from. Obviously, the attack and defense stuff I got from Yu-Gi-Oh, and the bonuses comes from specifically Electro. And as for the types of hands you can have, I got a list here, so it'd be easier I just show it. I'm not sure why I used... Well, Elif makes sense. I'm not really too fussed about it. Let's see. Sounds kind of neat. What kind of synergies did you build in? Or was it mostly base stuff to see whether you could do it? It was base stuff to an extent. I was in the middle of coding it, but I think of like adding stuff to it. The furthest I got were these like hands where it's like, okay, we'll use the attack one as an example. So if you had one copy of a card, it will do a single attack, but if you had 4 of the same card, it does a quad attack, triple, double. And then it got confusing because I was like, oh wait, what if you played 3 cards of the same and 2 different ones, so it'd be like a triple team attack. Oh wait, no, this one is if you have 6 cards in your hand and you play, and 2 of each card was a duplicate. And this one would be double team attack, triple team attack, and a full team attack, which is... What's that one? 4, 2... Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's how it works. As for the types, like I added a field type, so when you do this, it gives a bonus to grass creatures. So yeah, obviously anything green. Well, this one's the only card that works with this, so that's kind of funny. Yeah, and then that was the hardest thing I did, by the way. The little animation when it attacks, because the thing about card games for me is that coding it was easy, but visually representing it was a lot more complicated. Like when I played the card and it hit attack, like probably better to show here on this in the test screen, right? I have these 2 things here, and when I was building it and testing it, I was so confused because the attack thing was over here on this side, and the defense was on this side, and originally, and one would go up and one would go down. The problem was my eyes was confused. So when I hit play cards, it was updating each side, and I was like looking left and right, like, what am I looking at? What am I supposed to be focused on? And that was like the start of me learning about UI design specifically. This game's interesting to me. This project was a bit more interesting to me because with Magician's Thief, level design and UI are not entirely overlapping as much. Like you have your health bar, you have your money, you have that kind of stuff in Magician's Thief that's always going to be on screen. And the pulse menu is more of a afterthought for me. And the level design comes in separately. As for card games, yeah, it's like you said right just now, UI and animations are indeed pretty key for digital card games. And so I was getting angry to an extent because I was like, nothing feels right. And I'm like, right, it's because I have no way to visually feel that impact, or when I hit the opponent or something. There's no way I need to do those animations whether I like it or not. So I spent a lot of time learning tweening, motion tweening, and that paid off because when I was working on my RPG game, this whole UI thing wouldn't have existed if I didn't do that card game, because now I have a lot of knowledge about how UI works and visual display. It's like, oh right, yeah, I can do this. I can do these tweens and little effects. I was saying for anyone who just joined the stream that the sprites here are actually using an elastic effect. Originally these would scale upwards, but what's actually happening is it's doing the elastic effect and changing the sprite to another smaller version of that sprite, because you can, unless you're scaling upwards, scaling pixel art downwards is a bad idea. It just compresses, it looks ugly. So all these sprites here you're looking at is a small version and a big one. And I basically just had to create 2 versions of every sprite. And so when you hover over it, it does the elastic tween effect, and then it changes the animation basically. But yeah, back onto the card game briefly. Yeah, that was the idea. So yeah, again, that was the last thing I did on this game before I said, okay, I'm gonna go work on something else for a bit. Oh, okay, so you're asking, I made this sprite for this thing. I was trying to think, how do I do a Yu-Gi-Oh! Balatro without, you know, using Yu-Gi-Oh's aesthetic? So yeah, I used Yu-Gi-Oh cards as a placeholder, and I spent ages designing card templates. Oh yeah, so yeah, so you know, there are monster cards, etc., and then there's, well, I call them creature cards, but just for so Konami doesn't sue me one day, if I ever actually continue making this game. Yeah, so this is a, yeah, well, this is a field card, so I'm not really going to pretend. A field card is separate from, so instead of magic cards, I call them enchantments, and instead of trap cards, I call them trick cards. And they're more, like, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it is a bit more complex as it gets further on in the series, but it also gets a bit more complicated with how the mechanics work. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has chains and all sorts of extra mechanics, which isn't really needed for this particular type of game. The reason I even wanted to design it this way is because I like that Balatro squeezes everything out of something so small and so simple, the idea. So if I could do something similar but make it Yu-Gi-Oh, I thought it'd be a little bit fun. But yeah, basically. Yeah, so trick cards, just like this one blocks 1 enemy attack. That's the only trick card I made, and I made this sprite myself. So I put these here, and you can hover over them. I'll say one of the most hard things I had to do was the hover effect on cards. Like, you don't, like, getting it to focus on a thing. Learn to improve Magician's Thief by doing another game. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, I've had multiple blockages whenever I did Magician's Thief, not the current one, but the old one as well. And what I would do is not where I'd be like, oh, I don't know, I don't feel like working on it. I'll work on something else. And usually that something else always has some kind of payoff. I think with Magician's Thief, there was a text system in there, and I coded that entirely because I spent 3 weeks off Magician's Thief working on a VTuber sim project, and I got the core mechanics of that thing to work. I can't show it on stream because the thing fucking, like, isn't compatible with the latest version of Godot and had a lot of issues, so I can't do it. But the core concept was Uma Musume. It used the mechanics of Uma Musume, basically, but in the form of a streamer, and helping build them up. But basically the idea was, oh, I wanted to create a text system of my own, because I think there was another plugin called Dialogic, which is I think the most famous Godot plugin that people use, but I had so many issues with it and bugs and problems that I didn't fully understand what I was working with, so I kind of was I'm just going to make my own one, and then from there I could work on the code myself. I don't need to do that, as I've mentioned at the start of the stream, because of the new plugin for the text manager being this thing. I linked a video. Probably should clarify that these are like the text that's in the tutorial. That's not related to who I am. Before anyone worries. But yeah. Right. Yeah, card game. I'll finish talking about the card game and I'll come back doing the RPG game for a bit. Alright, yeah, and I added a thing to upgrade. So 5 defense on 1 selected card. So I do that, activate this, and it does a little shake effect. And then I can put that in, do that. And there's the double bonus, and then I can do this. This has an end state, I should clarify. Yeah, and then I could put... I'll show how that works. So if I end my turn, it blocks it. Though the little pop-up is still happening, but I never got around to fixing that. I didn't have time. Defense, attack. I'll probably, yeah. I did also accidentally code difficulty in this game. That one also... Actually, this might be fine. And that each round increases the stats. Oh, there's Axe of Despair, even though it's not. Okay. There we go. And then it ends. That should be updating, but yeah, and then it gives you a selection of cards to pick from. And it will... I think there's a 1 in 30 chance it will drop a purple card, which is just one of the stronger cards I have in my deck currently as a placeholder, or I could skip. Oh yeah, okay, there, it does reset, but this shouldn't even be... That should have reset by default. But now the opponent has 400 life points, and then that basically is the gameplay loop. I don't think I actually like fixed this problem, but I think when I win, the field doesn't update. We'll do one more round of this, and then we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I hope this this proof of concept was interesting to look at. I don't have anything else on here beyond like my idea. Huh. Why do I have 2 field cards? Oh, probably because I didn't. See. Activate that, put that through. It's also just like figuring out how buttons work. Hope game deving is doing good. Thanks, Azab. I'm doing good, thanks. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm mostly just doing a chill stream and getting myself to try and work on game dev stuff. I did manage to fix a bug immediately on stream, so I'm excited to get back to that in a bit. But I hope you're doing well. Yeah, updating life totals and stuff is kind of interesting how to time it. In my brother's design, he's using animation ends as the trigger to reset values and communicate it to other players. Alright. Yeah. All I've done is just a basic shake. And I think I have enough of the game to like actually build the rest of it, if that makes sense. Like, there's enough like gameplay stuff that I could just go, yeah, I could focus on doing the gameplay, then I'll do the arts, assets, and menus and all that. The aesthetic, obviously I was gonna use the aesthetic from off the game. And you're going up against like different types of creatures as you go through it, and the whole aesthetic was going to be a white kind of plain aesthetic with like that heart, for example. That heart. Oh god, I keep being jump scared. Thanks, Paved, and hello, welcome. Yeah, so yeah, that scream always gets me. That's on me. There we go. And that's kind of... it's a basic idea. I wonder if I, like... the problem is I have a bad habit of wanting to overscope or make a project bigger than it seems. Like, if I make this as a simple roguelike with... and not worry about the story too much, then I don't... well, it doesn't need to have a story, I guess, is my point. If the aesthetic and look at the game is to do with like a bunch of creatures in the void playing card games with each other, I think that's enough. And then you can unlock different decks and more cards. Basically, I would just be copying the other aspects of Balatro. The only thing that would make this more distinctly different is the fact that it's basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Balatro mixed with but yeah, the other difference being is that Balatro doesn't have opponents or computers to fight you. It just has a very specific set of rules when you get to a boss blind to try and beat. I think for card games like this, you can just focus on gameplay loop rather than story. Yeah, that's true. I think that will be the goal with this one. There's an animation problem happening down there with the deck. And I think that's because the position of the... yeah, but we'll wrap that one there. That one's fine. We'll move on back onto the other game. But yeah, that's all I have to show on this. I don't have much else. But I created something that at least... I whipped up a prototype that made me go, hey, I have something different than anything out there enough. Not everything's just like... I'm not going to say, oh, this is an entirely original concept. I clearly am taking aspects from Yu-Gi-Oh!, Balatro, and Slay the Spire, and I'm trying to blend it in a way that feels nice. So that's a project I'll be coming back to, basically, in the future. For now, I'm just focusing on getting this little RPG game working. I got the text box working, and I fixed some bugs in regards to movement. I have a lost pixel art concepts for this RPG game. But yeah, it's supposed to be inspired by games like RPG Maker games, more specifically. Just done in the little... okay, so yeah, that's the waypoint. Looks pretty cool, thank you. Well, I think with the dialogue manager, you can remove these like fake names. Hi, hello. Okay, maybe. We'll keep one of them. And then... yeah, so that could be when a character is talking, and that's when a character is... I like the art and the menu animations. Thank you. Oh yeah, you weren't here. I described it a couple times already, but I'll go over it one more time. But basically, the idea because I did that card game, I actually learned how to do UI design better. So I ended up, out of pure boredom, booting up a new project and redoing, well, not redoing, kind of putting things together for little sprites and animations. But basically, yeah, here is the menu that I whipped together in a week, I think. And the trick I did with the pop out effect is that these are not actually like stretching. These are two different sprites, a smaller sprite and a bigger sprite. And that's because when you scale it, if you use a scaling effect, with pixel art it looks ugly and the pixels get all jumbled. So it makes more sense to just use a smaller sprite and then do the little elastic effect when you hover over it, basically. I also just wanted to do things I couldn't do, like in Magician's Thief. If you pressed up, you wouldn't be able to go to the bottom of the screen of the menu, and if you press down when you're on the bottom of the menu, you can't go up. I didn't know how to do it back then, and now I do. It's not that difficult. But also, I did things terribly wrong with Magician's Thief that I regret. So let me think how to explain this one. But in-game jerks, balloon, player menu. Oh, right, okay, so yeah, I remember now. These buttons have their own, like, function. When it's focused... I'll show you how bad Magician's Thief is, specifically. So I got this. This is the pulse menu in Magician's Thief. And they use something called signals. Godot has built-in signals, so you can connect them without having to do the whole thing yourself. It is really cool, and it saves a lot of time. And so if I were to double click on this, it'll tell me where I set it, so it would be here. So when I press the return button, it runs this function. The problem is, let me click on options, for example. There's like, basically if you click any of these, like I hit button up, and I press this, it will create a function. That's not a problem. The thing is that I always thought, oh, okay, that means they have to work within the confines of that particular function. The problem is, we'll use focus as an example. I have a focus function for every single button, and there's a lot of menu items. All of the focus things are there, and so I've been putting them like that, and each time you hover, it changes the focus on a particular thing and releases it. It's when you press... Well, okay, actually, this one makes more sense. This is when you go into the layers of the menu. So if you click on, I don't know, options, it will open up the options menu. So yeah, it would do that. But I'm not even sure why the time scale... Oh, okay, sorry, yeah, when you reset the room, it unpauses the game. Okay, that makes sense. The problem is that there's so much of this, and a lot of it... a very simple piece of advice that my friend who works in a game studio recommended is that if you're copying and pasting a lot of code, you might want to just use one function for that particular reused code. So in my studies, I was like, okay, let's add the signal to the button and make that button call the pause menu, and it will pass. So basically, if I go into the main pause menu, there's this function, and this is what happens whenever you hover over an item and it passes the button. So here what's happening is that when I hover over that button, it is calling the function from the pause menu and passing itself, the button, through the function. So when you go on here, it's like, okay, we know this is a button, so we'll do all the functions you do when you hover over it there. And yeah, and that made it much more easier then, as opposed to writing so many copy pasting code. So if I end up copying pasting a lot, I may just change a thing. Let me think. Yep, if you're copying a lot, it means there's a more efficient way to do it. Yeah. Thank you. Right. I'm just trying to think what I will be doing today, because I thought the bug that I was running into I fixed immediately. So yeah, that's really nice. I got that fixed. But yeah, I'm just gonna close my eyes and think for a second. What do I want to do next? Can interact with a thing. I guess I'm gonna learn how to do cutscenes. That was a thing I find very difficult to do, and I struggled with Magician's Thief with doing cutscenes, because that was an afterthought, and when it came to doing that, it kind of bit me in the ass. Cutscenes, dialogue. Good though. Making in-use cutscenes for my game. I'm going to open up a YouTube video and play it on stream. Because I feel bad if I like... Let me turn off the lo-fi beats a second.
The short answer is my Dialogue Manager add-on. People have been asking me how I make cutscenes for Brave as Coconut, the action RPG I've been building. The short answer is my Dialogue Manager add-on for Godot 4. The longer and probably more helpful answer is still Dialogue Manager, but with a few examples. For those of you not familiar with Dialogue Manager, the main thing to know is that in between lines of dialogue you can call mutations, which are lines that call functions in your game, and in cases where relevant, wait for the function to finish before moving on. So let me show you. The first example is when Coco orders a drink from the cafe. There's some dialogue back and forward and some choices. Then Ben makes a drink and returns to deliver it. Let's break it down. In Dialogue Manager, the script for this looks like this. This first part is simple dialogue which only happens the first time meeting Ben. Then we pick a random line from these three. Then we're given some choices. The choices themselves don't overly matter in this case, all of the drinks just give you full health. So let's assume the player picked tea. First I call Coco.reach, which is just this little animation on Coco. The reason I can refer to the Coco object directly is because it is exposed on the current scene. The current scene being this inside cafe scene which extends base scene, which defines Coco. Then I call cup.show, which makes this cup sprite visible. The cup variable is available for the same reason Coco was, it's exposed on the current scene. The result of these two lines is Coco reaching forward and placing her cup up on the bar. Then we have some more randomized dialogue, a basic line and a more obscure one. The basic line is twice as likely to be picked at random due to this %2 syntax.
Oh, that's cool.
Then there's a state update behind the scenes to swap out the empty cup item in the inventory for one filled with tea. Then some more basic dialogue from Ben before he goes to make the drink. Now let's have a look at what this make drink mutation actually does. All it really does is play an animation, wait for it, then return to the idle animation. The await here is is what tells Dialog Manager.
Ah, okay. Let me note that down. Okay. Yeah, you can call animation finish, so that's how they're doing. That explains it. I was trying to figure out why how the animation was, how the text box wasn't appearing
Manager to let this
until
animation
after
play
the animation.
out before moving to the next line of dialogue. Ben then says, "Here you go," before Coco reaches up again to take the cup away. Then I check if this is the first time meeting Ben and say some different dialogue in each case. Lastly, I set the Has Met Ben flag to true. The result of all this is a smooth flowing little cutscene.
Okay, well,
The next example has a slightly more complicated setup. It uses some navigation stuff, but I'll get to that in a minute. First, let's see the whole thing in action. When choosing to use her lit torch next to the cauldron, Coco will run around to the front of it before pulling out the torch and lighting the cauldron. The dialogue script for this is mostly straightforward. If the nearest actionable node is the cauldron, then I check if it's already lit or even if it can be lit. If it's already lit, Coco says so. If it's not ready to be lit, then Coco informs you about that too. If it can be lit, then I first close the inventory. This do with the exclamation mark means to call this method but then advance without waiting for it to finish. Next, we tell Coco to move to the target position. This works by utilizing an acting state in Coco's state machine that uses a navigation agent to pathfind her way to...
That's the thing I don't understand, though, because he calls you Coco, but I want to know how he's, like, defining, like,
mark means to call this
how
method
is he
but then
calling
advance without
that
waiting for it to
particular
finish.
character.
Next, we tell Coco to move to the target position. This works by utilizing an acting state in Coco's state machine that uses a navigation agent to pathfind her way to the given target node's position.
Okay, pathfinding, that's what I need to learn.
In order to use a navigation agent, we need to define a navigation region in the scene. The target in this case is this marker 2D node just below the cauldron. Once Coco reaches the target, she pauses for about half a second and then starts her use torch animation. Once that finishes, I tell the cauldron to start bubbling. Like before, the cauldron object is available to the dialogue because it has been defined in the current scene.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna just try something real quick. Sorry, he just answered my question. We'll get player and we'll create a function called say something in debug. And basically I could do print. It will basically appear in this box down here. Print hello there. And the player. I just don't know if this is, as he said, we'll do here and we'll go do player dot say something in debug. Will this work? I don't know. No, it didn't. Needs to be referenced by their name. Oh, is it really like case sensitive kind of thing? Or is it just because I typed, because the name player is too specific? Player not found. State directly. No 2D auto. Autoload needs to be referenced by their name. I don't know what that means. Let's just call this test for a second. And then change that. I'm wondering if it's because player is such a specific thing. Yeah, I don't get it. That doesn't really make sense to me. I need to figure this out before I can do anything else. Because it has been defined in current scene. That doesn't make sense. Why is it not working for me, but it works for him?
Lastly,
I'm just gonna check.
She pauses for about half a second. Agent to pass. Next, we tell Coco mark a 2D node.
I mean, I'm looking at the screenshot. Well, this bit here, it says how he structured it. And the cauldron has a name. It's called Cauldron. Oh. We'll change that back to player. I haven't done this in a while. I can't remember what does this percentage thing. Oh, unique character name. That's probably it then. How's it doing? How do I set? Let me look that up. How to unique character name Godot. Let's just check this quick tutorial. Unique names in Godot. Let's Godot 4, please. That's 3.5. It might still work, whatever. Just tell me how to do it. Sorry, give me a moment. Oh, okay. So, okay. So maybe this will work. Let me try again and go back to dialogue. And we'll try again. What now? There's a fly in my face. Get out of the way. You can just reference character label for now. Put on the background music, I just realized. No, character label is in the balloon thing. This thing is separate, so it wouldn't do anything. I'm just using this as an example to understand how that thing works. Hey, Cole. Oh no, thanks for popping by, but obviously take some rest if you can. I'm just doing some studying. Let me see. Revoke unique name for player. Let's change this to test. Again, I'm wondering if it's just because test player is a unique name. Like it's a commonly used thing, so maybe it might not. No, I guess not. That's not really. That wasn't the problem. Auto loads need to be referenced by their name to use their property. I'm getting jump scared a lot by these subscriptions, so thank you for supporting me still. That scream every time. Thank you, genuinely. I'm glad I'm doing a stream of game dev now. Even if I feel like an idiot right now.
just below the cauldron.
Let me just see. Let me finish the rest of that video, and then we'll like go from there.
Once Coco reaches the target, she pauses for about half
He
a
isn't
second
going to explain
and then
that because
starts
it's
her
not
use
really
torch
like
animation.
the thing that needs to be explained.
Once that finishes, I tell the cauldron to start bubbling. Like before, the cauldron object is available to the dialogue because it has been defined in the current scene. Lastly, I pause for a short while before ending this path through the cutscene. If the cauldron isn't ready to be lit, or if Coco isn't looking at the cauldron, then she'll...
Yeah, okay, he ain't going to explain that. Let me just double check in the comments. Da, da, da. None of these questions. No one's asking the question. The search states with referenceable. Auto nodes need to be referenced by names. The actual concept there makes sense. I just need to figure out why that's not. Oh, maybe we'll see if that actually does it. Revoke unique name. Go into the player and then we'll define it here. I don't know why I just did that. Oh no, I can't do it in here, but I can do it here. Yeah, I thought I did it right. I'm not sure why that's not. I'm gonna be staring at this for a bit, so this is what I always like think, well, this is not fun content for streaming, though the rest of it has been so good so far. I wonder, I don't know if I can even Google that, because it's a very specific thing. Let me check that dialogue manager's documentation. I can probably click on conditions and mutations. Mutations is what I need. Any example above? Oh, does it have to be a global function? That's a bit strange. I don't like that. I think it would be cooler if it just called that particular thing, but if it's a global thing, I mean, it says here auto loads need to be referenced, and obviously an auto load is here. This is what an auto load is. It's something that always runs. So I got in-game checks and dialogue manager. But like if I'm doing cutscenes, I probably need something like a cutscene manager. I guess that makes sense. Like, I think the thing with cutscenes is that they can never be simple. Like, if you're, especially for games like this, like off uses RPG Maker. That one's actually a bit more easier to break down, but with something like Deltarune, where all sorts of animations, funny gags, and weird specific events that you might think is very basic is probably like annoying and difficult to code. Partly because of this. That's why Magician's Thief's cutscenes is that it's a dialogue box and then it disappears. And that's it, usually. And for cutscenes, I think I did a weird trick where I think with Magician Thief... Oh, let's close that. We can go to room 15. No, it's 14. Or was it called Boss Room? What did I call the room? Oh, that's we can close this one. I don't need this one open. Yeah. How did I do cutscenes in here? Oh wait. Oops, that was supposed to be off. Let's do that again. No. Go back to the boss room, open up Steam. And so, if you're wondering how that actually works, is that it's a magic trick. Pun completely intended. Is that the actual players... Oh my god. The actual players here the whole time, they're just invisible. And what's actually happening is a fake, like, cutscene sprite, cutscene players running, and then collides with that box and stops moving. And when the cutscene ends, it swaps the two out, and then gives control back to the player. As soon as it touches that box, it stops its animation and goes to idle. And there's one for depending on what outfit the player is wearing. It's easier to code something like that into a platformer, and this is the wrong way to do it. The ideal way is that you should be able to just force the player to move regardless of the control, but because of how the controls were coded, I couldn't do that, or didn't know how to at the time. But yeah, that was my workaround. An even older version of the game did that trick, but it had the camera follow the fake magician and then swap to the other one. But the problem was that in this version, it kept like jerking the camera in a way that I was just like, oh, I'm noticing that like 5-pixel jump. There's better ways. You could do motion between it's moving on that kind of like thing. I don't know. So yeah, it's different. It's easy to do for a side scroller in my opinion, but like in terms of like what I want to achieve, I want to be able to do things correctly. Alright, so yeah, let me look at that video one last time. I think I realized what I'm misunderstanding here. And I'll look at the... if it loads. Here. The problem is I don't think that should be called globally. I don't know. That's why I don't think that I don't understand that because you don't want everything running in the background when you boot it up. Maybe, but like, oh, okay. The thing is, I haven't used unique names much, so that's probably on me. Unique name Godot. Okay, so I think I have an idea what is going on here. Basically, what I want to do is create a good process for doing cutscenes that doesn't involve scuff, basically. Like, I don't want to put particular scenes together in a way that requires me to do it over and over again, and it becomes a problem. Yeah, so right, I'm just thinking, just give me a moment from my brain. Okay. Right, So what I want to be able to do is boot this up and have the character move from one point to the other, so I'll have the thing for unique names set up. Okay, so we are going to create a new script. Usually I put it in the scripts folder, but okay, we'll do cutscene manager, and then we'll call this one the test. Yeah, the cutscene manager. Straightforward, right? That'll do. And then what I'm gonna do is go into projects, global, and then we're gonna add that in. There we go. And now I can call that particular script anytime. So this would be this script. And I'm just looking up what's happening there. Go away. Unready for player equals and use the unique value and then player. And then what I will do, print player. I'm being dumb. And then when I hit play, it will print that data. Yeah, well, it'll print. Is that? Sorry, I'm looking at how someone's doing it. Object null, I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Actually, I know why. Cutscene manager. I'll just call it player character for now, because it's easier for me to remember it that way. Run button is run. Unique names, good. Let's say cutscene manager. You can go to dialogue. Would that work? I don't think that's gonna work. On null, yeah, because it's not finding it. Why isn't the auto load? Well, I mean, it's because it. That's why I don't really understand why the auto load is a thing. Why? I assumed it would have grabbed it right away, but I guess it can't find it. Let me just Google this. Auto load not finding unique name Godot. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought so, but I'm not sure why that's that auto load. Yeah, I'm getting annoyed because thing isn't very clear. Basically, what's happening is an auto load is loaded before the game boots properly. So what's happening is I can't find it because it's not looking. It can't because basically the scene, this particular thing, this whole thing here, this is a scene. This is loaded after the auto load. The auto load is loaded like the first thing, and is always running. They're usually ready first, basically, before the root scene is prepared. Okay, I guess that works too. Alright, so that's a solution. That will work. I know for a fact that will work. Basically, you set it here, and then you go cutscene manager dot player character equals self there, and then go back to that script. The cutscene manager, we can leave that. So I rather, if you want to be safe, I probably should define it. Character body 2D. Oh, the errors. That's fine. And now, when it does this, it will. I think it will work now. Unless I'm missing something. Oh, what? What do you mean null? It's not null anymore. On ready, when player is ready, it sets that. Okay, one way I can check though is just booting it and then opening this and then checking cutscene manager, player ID. Yeah, it's there. It is. Oh right, I'm an idiot. I deleted the function. I was right. It was working. I just I deleted this fake function. So if I do this, and then go print hello, and then I hit play, we do this. Oh, you piece of shit. Oh. No, okay. I'm being dumb again. I called it player character. We'll just call it player. That will work. I know. Player. God damn. It worked. If you're wondering, here it is. I got it to print the thing. So, yeah, we can now call the function of a particular thing. Ooh. So there are different ways I can do this. We're gonna change this to move player to target, and in here we're going to pass a marker 2D new position. What do you call it? Position. Alright, well, yeah, new position, and we'll call it marker 2D. And basically what I will now do is add a marker 2D onto the scene, and we'll get the player to walk here. We could actually move it down here a second. And the problem is I haven't coded the player to move without the... I wonder if that'll still work. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll see. What we'll do is we'll just move the body. We won't worry about like the animations and all that kind of stuff. Actually, what we will do is set a speed here. The reason I'm doing that instead of using the player's default movement speed is because I'm trying to picture cutscenes where a player, you know, let's imagine a cutscene where you're about to be chased and you're in front of a monster or something, and you take a step back, take a couple more steps back, and then start running the other way. You want to set a speed for the particular cutscene as opposed to the actual player speed. So you can do little things like that. That's my logic anyway. This is where I need to open up Magician's Thief again. Don't worry, it was a bunch of tutorial stuff on there. Because Magician's Thief is brilliant to me because it's to, even though I'm not really like, it's been a while, I use this game a lot as a reference for a lot of things. So like, if I open laser move, we'll do moving platform. Moving platform. Basically, I want to get the code for how the player moves, how from one thing to the other. yeah, move towards basically this function. To position, be in the position moves towards that thing. However, it won't work here. It needs to... Oh my god. I will not snack. I will drink water and nothing else. Move player to target. I'm just gonna look it up actually. Move. I have the idea, it's just my way works with I mean, I'm curious what would happen if I did this. Just for... Okay, so we're gonna duplicate this and comment that out. And then I'm gonna remove these two things so you don't need to pass them through. This is just for testing purposes. And then we can have here. Speed is not declared. That's fine. We'll just say 200. Delta is not declared. And I just want to see what happens when I run this. Will the character move? The character did move instantaneously. That's because there are various ways I can do this. I'm just trying to think up the most ideal way. Yeah, that just sets the position. That's because it's not using a process. So if I did, like, for example, if I put this here, it will move. Okay, maybe it's moving so fast that I can't tell. Let's change it to like 10. I guess not. Let me double check how this worked. Oh, it's probably because it's using Delta, but... Delta? Yeah, it's doing it. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, okay, I'm gonna make a note of that. This happened on accident. But like you could, you know, like quicksand, like a sand hole kind of thing, where it's like it pulls you in. That's a fun little thing I could do. Obviously, I can control the player because I'm not telling the player to. The player is in control. The player is talking, or if the player is pulls. Okay, we're gonna add something new here. This is something I didn't do I couldn't do off stream because I didn't have like the brain for it. But what should I call it? Is stopping player. And what we want to do is, you see this function here, if is paused and is character talking, you do this and then you do return true. And instead of And then I can add a new one. So we'll go back to in-game checks a second, and here is, and we could do is cutscene equals false. So now we have is cutscene, basically. And the idea behind that is when you... And is cutscene in game checks. Cutscene. So basically now, instead of me copying and pasting this long line of code, I can just put this through. If is stopping play, then I don't do it here because this one checks for the opposite. So if one of these, I don't know why that's even there. Let me just try something. It checks for one or the other, but it would just make sense to do if. Yeah, I don't know why I added an or. If it's doing either of these, this should be happening, so it doesn't need to check if the other one is running or not. At least not in that particular function. I think I was thinking, okay, well, okay. I'm waffling, let me think of something else. A check should be done here too. But I think I stopped this. Yeah, it's up here. So that's not needed either. You'll see me in a minute undo all these because I may have just deleted something that I probably put there for a reason. Let's just do the usual test things. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the function's no longer there. And we'll turn off the stupid, weird sand pit effect. In fact, you can do this even if you're not going to use it more than once. If you think readability improves by extracting it to a function, I find it's a good idea to do it. Yeah, definitely. It's a thing where I'm like, I want to get this right. This particular project is me just kind of going all min-maxing on what I can and cannot do. Because, like, if I do this correctly, and I got, like, let's just say a battle system in place and all sorts of all the mechanics and all the base stuff there, and I did it correctly, making the game will be easy. So, at least to some extent. Is player busy? Is player busy? That's probably a better thing to say. Is player busy? And there's... we can delete that. Let me just, I'm basically just testing the... Is there a rename all option? There is. I just choose not to do it because I like to see what I'm renaming just in case I do something wrong and I end up forgetting what I changed. That's kind of just a bad habit of mine. Is player busy? Input, movement. Okay. Those changes worked. And this one's obviously the opposite. understandable. Do whatever is comfortable for you. Thank you. I mean, I'm always open to suggestions and whatnot. And I'm always happy to answer or justify my decisions. I'm laughing because some of my decisions might not be the most ideal reasons, but I'll get there. Okay, so we got that fixed. That was something that should be moved. Sorry, I always have kind of a thing where that needs to be down. Animation, movement. Yeah, we'll put it down here. This one will be separate. I kind of have a structure for functions to an extent, like the top ones obviously being the processes, so the physics process and the normal process, and then the input stuff is next, and then it's animation, and then the general functions after. It's easier for me to figure out. I will comment all this later. I won't be doing that now. Is player busy? Is player moving to target? Yeah, okay, so we're back to where we were, but I at least optimized the code a bit better so I know what I'm doing. Because I tried to do this is player busy thing last time, and I fucked up. Got mad and then undid everything, only to realize later down the line that I accidentally replaced, where was it? The one with the or statement, this, basically, with the thing, and that's not really related. Okay. I can call that. Down here, I'll be doing the functions, I think. Because it would be... I'll probably message my friends about this, but I'm wondering if having an auto-load for load of functions prepared is, like, ideal. Because there's going to be a lot of functions for cutscenes, and I'm wondering, will... Or... I create one function that you pass through variables and it does a thing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. There was a game called Eastward, I think. I'm gonna see if I can find this, because it was a very good post. That's not the Eastward game. It took me to us. I'm wondering if they still have it. Or was it deleted? May have been deleted. The game Eastward is like... I never played it. I have it, but I've never gotten around to playing it. But it's basically a top-down adventure game. And they once posted a snippet of their code, but they basically created a... I don't know how to explain it, but imagine, like, they had a function. It was like... In here, it would be like... Up 5, down X do thing. It was kind of something like, I'm butchering what that tweet was or what the code was that they were showing, but it was basically they created a function where they just passed some variables through and it did the cutscene in that particular order. So I want to do something like that. Having an ideal cutscene maker. So instead of like, I don't know, this is gonna be tricky. Yeah, but you know, it'll be fun. If I get that sorted, the next big step is the battle system. So those are the two things before I even make any progress with this. prototype slash game idea is that I want to get functionality between those two things working and to see if it's viable. It's basically what I was saying with the card game. I got to a point where it's like, yeah, I could actually do something with it, and now the game is in a state I can actually progress with. Well, obviously, yeah, I've been jumping projects a lot. Actually, I haven't even got a name for this character yet. But I did come up with the design myself. Drink some water, and then we'll progress. Oh, thank you. I'm doing well. Best of luck on development. Thank you. It's been fun so far. I'm just kind of wrapping my head about how I'm going to do this next thing and do it right, so I'm just hoping we could do something like function move player. I want to do it in this particular thing, and then it passes the player. Well, wait, that's whoa. I was writing it in a different language for a second then. Yeah, and so you can call this particular function and pass a specific thing. A lot of this is just me sitting here and thinking. That is kind of how I do game dev, but when I get to the point where I'm not sure what I want to do, and when I do want to do the thing, I need to sit here and think, how am I going to put those pieces together? The old me would have tried a bunch of things, and if it worked, I would have moved on, but not this time. 4 years of game dev has prepared me to be a bit more reasonable. I mean, I could use a tween. I've been doing it for pools menus. Actually, I do need to open up the card game again. Where is it? There you are. Oh yeah, the card game project was called Yuga, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. There was no meaning behind it. Oh, so many tweens. Let's see. I draw a card, blah blah blah. Add card to hand. Add card to hand. Oh, animate card to position. Oh, okay, that's fine, I think. That just does a normal transition. Alright, yeah, okay, I have an idea then. We'll use cutscene manager and put that here and put move to position. The reason I'm calling it that is so thing that needs movable thing. Position and speed. Using a tween would be fine then, and then what will happen I'm not using any effects on that tween, so I mean, I probably should look into how pathfinding works as opposed to this way. But for now, I just want to be able to see if I can do it. Cutscene manager dot move position. The movable thing is the player, so self. The new position will be this marker that I just slapped in, and the speed will be 20. Right? So we'll grab that await function. So basically what I want to do is wait like half a second, then see what happens. Oh, that's like the speed at which the player will actually go to the thing. So we'll just say 1. It'll take 1 second for him to move. Okay, something broke immediately. Was I not paying attention to? Started with no tweeners. Oh, okay. All right, landlock position. There we go. So yeah, what happened was we got the player moving to that spot. Now we're gonna do the Pathfinder probably uses the A* algorithm underneath. I don't know much about it. I will probably look into it after the stream because it seems like more of a I'm going to have to watch some videos and then study it before I properly touch it. Yeah, but we got the movement working to an extent. It's not. Oh wait, it moves it regardless of what the player does. That's kind of funny. I didn't know. Wow, that's kind of cool. Like, yeah, I can't control. That's. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That means it prevents doing it that way. Stops the player from being controlled. So I don't even have to. Well, I'll still update the animation and read the inputs. But obviously, when that happens, yeah. Okay. And then we need to check something else, which is... Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna do something. Check when tween stops. Gonna. Yeah, that one I have to look into myself. Yeah, this is I need to sit my ass down and think hard about it. Thankfully, it's a work in the office day tomorrow, so I'll probably be doing that a lot. Thinking about the process. I guess I could. Let me just try something. Well, no, let me just type in print. Ooh. Okay, we'll do it. It won't. They're like, let me see. Can I do that? I don't know if that's a thing. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to wait. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, that works. Basically, I wanted to make it do the thing and then say, "Hey, I've done the thing. What's next?" And the reason I want to do that is because I wanted to do this. So here, which is the is cutscene thing. As soon as this starts, you do is cutscene. Probably won't need to do it here, but we'll do it here for the example. Basically, I'm going to create a big function that passes through all these other smaller functions. So when I, create that custom cutscene maker, I want it to do that. So basically, when it starts, actually, well, yeah. So when the game starts, was it in-game checks dot, yeah, is cutscene equals true. Now when this is set to true, I can't move the player around, so yeah, I can't do anything. That's fine. So I can't move the player around during a cutscene. And now in this cutscene manager, we're just going to, just for this example, is in-game checks dot is cutscene equals true equals false. So when it's done, I can move again. What will actually happen is we'll create a function called end cutscene. And we'll call that, because this isn't going to be in the move to position function. when I need it. Ooh, okay. So we want to do two things. I want to do this in the dialogue manager. Asset manager doing there. However. Yeah. Okay, that name is confusing me, so I'll just say I'm player. Hi player, I'm dad. Okay. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, that was kind of just random. Move to position. There was an example somewhere. Let me think. We'll do signal. Yeah, so we'll create a custom signal. So instead of using the usual nodes, which has their own signals, we want to create a custom signal that is going to fire when when a particular function's done. So for this one, I'm gonna open that guy's video again. I have a lot of tabs open in my browser. Close all of those. I minimize this. Dialog. System. Get the Oh, yeah, there's a different way of doing the move to target function. Cool desktop background, by the way. Did I accidentally show it? Oh yeah, thank you. Look, I have a folder called Theo and my recycling bin. I cleaned it before the stream. What have I opened up twice of? Oh, I have two Magician Thieves open, that's why. I was trying to think why I had an error happening. Oh, he's using the animation player. I guess that's not what I want to do exactly, but that does. We won't end cutscene here. What I might do, I just want to see if this works. Actually, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll figure. How is he doing this? I'm basically just studying this guy's, like, code that he has briefly on the screen. So I'm trying to... That one is good. I need to remember this. Oh. I mean, I got that right, so yeah, we'll do the movement. But basically what I want to do is have the player talk to the box, have one line of dialogue, move the player, then open another line of dialogue. Just to see if I can do this. Move to target, state machine, enter. Okay, that one's not what I'm looking for. Wondering how he's doing this. Cauldron marker. I should probably clarify this is what I'm looking at. So he's calling that thing. Oh, the character is defining the target. But like, I guess he has like a script for each sequence when you go into the room or do a particular thing. So that's, yeah, okay. It is a bit more complicated by nature. That makes sense. Right. How am I gonna do this? We'll probably wrap up at 9. Also, I did say I would stop at 10. I'm in the office tomorrow, and that's around the time I go to bed. Give myself an hour of playtime with the Switch 2 in bed, and then fall asleep the rest of the night. And yeah, I have meds that don't allow me to get addicted to the game for long periods of time. So it wouldn't be a case of me playing a game in bed for more than an hour. It's not possible. I've tried. I guess I want to... Yeah, we're gonna try something here. One second. And then... Well, I don't know how to call this in that. Unless I specifically call these particular ones. I guess I wouldn't... It would be in the scene itself. Yeah, we'll call this test. This whole thing is like a test, basically. Test code. Yeah. And this... So, like, this would be the level... Or the room code, basically. And the room code would call to the player. That's... As opposed to the player doing all this kind of busy work. Why is that in my head, even though lo-fi beats are playing? then you can grab the player in there. Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's how the dialogue system worked in Magician's Thief, honestly. I just show that one. That one actually made a bit more sense. We'll use the village. I guess town. Magician City. Oh, it's called Magician City. Okay. And the way this works, the way I did the dialogue system for this, is that because everyone has all these unique like dialogue things, and oh, that's the interact dialogue function. Basically, here it says the NPC name, Circus, and then it looks for that NPC name, and then it passes it through NPC data. NPC data is called. Basically, I had a single node in this entire scene called NPC data, and NPC data contains the scripts for everything. And the reason I did it this way is that it will look in at the NPC data and call that particular one, that particular like person, and then it does its own unique checks in there. Because I added stuff like Easter eggs, so if you did a very particular weird thing, the game will remember you did that thing and then call that particular thing. I remember now, I based this off the way Hades did their dialogue system. Though Hades is a lot more of a complex game. The actual no-clip video about it did a very good job at like teaching me how their like dialogue system works. Hades dialogue. I'm gonna link that. It's by People Make Games. I'll link it here if people want to check it out. It's a really good video. It gave me the idea for the dialogue. Anyway, my point was, the reason I did it this way is because I think in like, I guess the only other place is, yeah, World 2 had this, where in World 2 had checkpoints. It has NPC data for this, and that's level 2, checkpoint 1. I built it this way so all the dialogue is self-contained in that particular level, if that is what I'm trying to say. So that way, when I go to Magician City, instead of having, I don't know, a dialogue manager with millions of lines of code, I have one smaller one that contains the data for the characters in that particular room, so it's not loading in all that crap, if that makes sense. But yeah, that was how that worked. So I'm bringing that up because I forgot this existed, and I forgot I did this. I was like, oh yeah, okay, this game is not entirely badly made. It is pretty competently made with some level of thought that I wish I had done previously. So I probably will do something like, well, I don't even need to do that. The dialogue manager just calls that particular line and pulls that in. So it's not like that's going to be the problem. The problem is that I'll probably do a similar thing with the level. So I either create a node and call this cutscene manager. So when you go into that room, it will check. Yeah, we'll do it there because I don't think the room data is like going to be like, I know I'm going to be creating a script for the room, for every room, and that room's going to share data with the same type of script. So you want to put it in a singular node separately that I can call anytime. And that's why we'll add a group to it and call it cutscene manager. So what I can do. There's a lot of thoughts running in my head right now, which isn't good for my brain. I'm overwhelmed with a bunch of ideas on how I'm gonna do it. I need to... Yeah, okay. It's cutscene manager. Oh wait, okay, that gets confusing actually. We're not gonna call it cutscene. We'll call it cutscene data. Sorry, it's because there's already a global function called cutscene manager. And a cutscene manager will do all the things like moving, unique animations, and do cutscene stuff, while the cutscene data does the cutscene. And I want to see what happens a second. Let me just do... I'm just wondering... okay. Let's just do these two cut things and go to player. I had the code here. And we'll just say function move 1 and move 2. I just need to double check if this actually works. We'll call that 2. Basically what will happen is I want to call these two things. Cutscene. Oh, it does auto. Okay. Don't need to wait there. I want to do this basically. I want to see if it waits before doing the other thing. Alright, it's because I have the cutscene playing on the player. Don't worry about it. No, it skips one and does the other. I wanted it to wait basically before it did it, because I thought when you run move, it I guess yeah, that's a thing that the guy doesn't need to worry about, but I do because of pathfinding, where he has the character move in a particular way as opposed to... Yeah, okay, so I'll just wait. I mean, a cheat. This is a cheat. I don't really think this is a solution. And it has been popping in my head a bit, is that if I were to put in... I actually had it a second ago. Do this. Do wait. But if you're wondering... I don't really agree with it. So here it says 1 second. It takes 1 second before doing anything. So I know it takes 1 second. You can wait 1 second, and when that second up, it do the next thing, like this. But we can't see it because I moved the character down. So let's just do that again. So what will happen is the player will talk after that. They'll move to that. But I guess if you're doing... Yeah, so that's how I would do that particular thing, I guess. But not an ideal way of doing it, if you know. Because what if I change the timing on it? It kind of breaks it. Then I have to look for where I did that and why I did that. So if I change it here, I have to go into the script, find the function which caused that to move, and then change it there. So that's not ideal. But, yeah, okay. Anyway, my point is, let me try this. I guess you could just do this as well. So you do that. Oh, right. You would put an await there. That's how you do this. Oh wait, no, it's the other way around. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. You talk, it moves the player. Talks again. There you go. But there's a bit of a weird timing on that, so you would probably add like a brief moment like that. So if that's more to do with like the feel of it as opposed to actually like, yeah. Yeah, this would be the way. If you're wondering how I'm gonna do the animations, I will probably like cheese it. Okay, what did I do? I had it move up and then right. What I will do here, walk up. Yeah, so what you could do in the dialogue thing is do cutscene manager. Up. And then when it moves, let's walk right. Will this work? I don't know. I'm about to find out. I didn't even update the animation. I know why. Yeah, it's because in process it's not like checking. I guess we'll just cheat for a brief moment if in-game check start is cutscene. So if that's not true, then don't update. Don't do any of these things because you're not touching those. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course not. It's not going to work because I haven't set the in-game cutscene to work. So when it starts, you can do in-game cutscene is true. And then when it ends, you just do false. I did create the function, didn't I, in the cutscene manager end function. It probably is better I just do it in here instead of constant. because I'll be still typing in the same thing regardless. We'll do it this way. The reason I think this way is probably better is because I may end up adding more checks later down the line. Do cutscene. You probably don't need that there. This one is just... Yeah, actually, sorry. Ignore me. I'm just kind of putting in placeholders at the moment. So the end cutscene thing is correct. This will be deleted. Delete after, because the way cutscenes are going to work is that the cutscene manager is going to call the cutscene data will set that. But for this example, still not moving. I don't know why that is. The animation updating. In-game cutscene, true, is cutscene. Player. I don't need to explain myself. I can look at that and go move 1, move 2 in the player script. That's a bit weird. I don't need to explain that. That should be in the test script. That should be in the test. Whatever. Move 1, move 2. Process is in-game, is cutscene. Oh, that's why his talking is happening. Nope, that's still doing it. I may give Godot a try after this. Maybe make something simple. Yeah, I recommend it. Godot has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's a fun little program. There's lots of nice tutorials out there to do basic things. Yeah, I recommend making a bunch of small mini games and then go from there. It is quite fun. I'll just cheat this one. I just want to see if this is actually causing the problem. Oh, I guess I could just put this all in here. If it isn't a cutscene, don't do any of these things in the process. If player is busy, is if... Yes, so player control disabled, so that should work, maybe. I've been wrong so far. I mean, it's kind of funny the animation does that, but... Oh, or rather, the lack of animation. Oh wait, you can still move? Well, why? How? Oh. That was stupid of me. That's really stupid of me. It kind of worked. I don't know what the hell happened there, though. Oh, the player turned and then turned back, so I'm not sure why. Oh, right, yeah, because move 2 is running. Move 2. Okay, I'm getting confused here myself. Let's split this up into little sections. So that's what should be happening. That's the order of how things are being done. So move 1 works with the walk up animation, and then that moves with the walk right. So what should happen is walks up and then moves right. I don't know why the character automatically turned when the cutscene ends. Oh, right, it's reading the last inputs before. So it's just updating those animations. Oh, that's funny. Okay, that's going to be another problem. Also, yeah, the character, you want... Basically, there's another one here. You need to do idle up. We'll say idle left, so like the player walks up, then looks behind them. So idle down, and then when they move back, well, they don't need to do it. Well, so yeah, this is a thing that I know. I'll show this as an example. I want the character to look up after they move right, but they're not going to. They're going to look back in the direction that they were originally facing. Yeah, so they did look up for a brief second, but the cutscene ended and the character's original position was set. So the solution to that would be that the player needs to have like a manual positioning thing. Instead of update direction here, I would have to do like manual update, which is like update direction, manual update direction up, and then that's what will happen. So you would do function manual update direction. Manual direction. And so what we'll have there, manual direction. Well, match. I'm trying to think of an easy way to not do that, like twice. I guess I don't need to do that. The input is like... Let me show you. Where it says update direction, we'll look for that. Player direction, and player direction is vector 2, which is the player input. So what I want to do as a test is print player direction. Might be lazy. Yeah, we'll do it that way. I'm overthinking this. Match manual direction, and then oh yeah, manual direction should be set to be a string. You don't actually have to do this. It's more safe this way, so you don't accidentally pass something you shouldn't. I never used to do this. Same with these up here, but I had a bug in the card game where I spent like an hour trying to figure out why a card wasn't doing the thing it was, and that's because it was looking at the wrong type of node due to how I named it. The first of many problems with that game. game's messy spaghetti code. So yeah. We'll use capital letters, so I know. So it's easier for me to remember. Basically, I just copy and paste this, but like it just checks the... I can't do this in a way that works if I were to merge the two. I'd rather not risk touching that and messing that up. I'll figure a way out. I'll probably will do something like that. So now we have this manual direction function, and I can go into yeah, we can put it here and do cutscene player dot, and then up. So when it ends, it... Well, actually, I don't even need this then. If the player's just... Because the player's not walking anymore at the end of the cutscene. So you have this. Yeah, it worked. Sorry, I'm not used to things working right on the first attempt. The animations are a bit weird, so well, I had collision shapes on the whole time, so let me just turn that off. So... Ah, okay, this is silly. I was trying to think, why is that animation a bit weird? And that's because of the timing. So, yeah. I'm doing that because you want that brief pause when you don't want it to instantly show that text box the second the character stops moving. You need that, like, tiny pause before the text box appears again. And then do that here too. And now we got like a nice little clean... Oh, that one actually didn't need a pause, actually. I mean, that's me being stupid. That one probably doesn't need a pause because... Yay! We did it! We got... some basic cutscene, and I can do it again. Oh, that's nice. And then obviously, like, so the pull screen I just need to fix as well. Great job, thank you. You're learning. I'm glad you're learning too. I like having... It's always a nice experience being able to, like, do this and learn with someone watching as well. And is paused and... is cutscene. So you can't pause and when the cutscene's happening. I'll put it here in the well, actually, you don't need to... Basically, unpausing won't really matter. You shouldn't be in that screen when a cutscene happens anyway. So I can't, like... Yeah, I can't pause now. Ah, okay, but what I'll do is make it wait for like a second more. You know, when the cutscene ends and then everything goes back to normal. Oh wait, no, it needs to... I know why that's happening. Because you're not updating the sprite sheet, which you can do here. Update, yeah, so update sprite state, sorry. So yeah, what I was doing is changing the direction, but I wasn't updating the animation. The animation doesn't update until after it's done. And obviously we're doing a cutscene and we are manually changing the direction the player is facing, which is then checked in the process. So if you have it in the manual thing, basically the player will not do that weird thing just now. Oh no, it's still doing it. What was that? Manual update. Well, at least I know what I'll be doing this week. This week will be spent just trying to put this together. This particular cutscene manager. Getting tired. I shouldn't get tired yet. Let me finish this little bit. I mean, I know this works. It's just the... Let's try to update the sprite sheet. Animation direction. Oh, right, it's doing it there. Oh, well, I mean... Update facing direction. That's what we'll call it, because it's like... The idle. Update... Manual update idle direction. Because the player isn't... I don't need to update that movement. That's done separately, so... Well, I don't need to do that there either. I just do this. I basically go here, animated sprite, play idle plus animation direction. There. And what should happen, I hope... It crashed. Oh, yeah, because I changed the name of the function, didn't I? And then I get jump scared by all this error messaging. Okay, that's like you could tell immediately I'm a bit like overwhelmed by just changing that and realizing, oh god, I forgot to change it here. Yeah, that's where it should be. Now it should work. Yeah. I'll have the player look down though. That, and then the marker. Well, actually, so the next problem obviously being if the player. Oh, look, this worked. Actually, let's move that there. Basically, what will happen is the player will walk up when they talk. But if you were to, like, I don't know, walk this way. The player will just like walk through it. Obviously that's more dependent on how I'm gonna do the cutscenes, but like, and I would probably add like a wall or something to prevent the player from going all the way around so they can't do that. Let's try that, actually. That'll be the last thing I check. I'm not gonna be doing much more because we're wrapping up the stream. Color rect. We're gonna add a color rectangle. Rectal. That sounded dodgy, sorry. Cool. Just say that. Actually no, let's keep it white. This is confusing me. And then we'll add a static body 2D. Put that in there. Add a collision shape to it. Basically, this will be like a physical box. Oh wait, that's why transform. There it is. Put that behind there. So now we have a collision box. This box doesn't really do anything yet. It's not the player. It will react to the player. I think the player's just going to walk right through it, but let me just double check. So this is like the collision, and I can add layers basically. We can just say world. We'll call them tile. No. World. It's easier for me to call it that way. And so the player can interact, can bump into the world tile, and then this isn't a tile, but you know, we'll get to that. Is the world, and it can react to the. That's it. The wall itself doesn't need to. The player has to. So now when the player walks into it, yeah, I can do anything. Now, what reason I did that is because I want to put it here and see what happens if the player. Will the player walk through it? The box needs to be bigger, obviously. Can I resize you, please? Move you over there. Alright, let's do this again. I just want to see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, the player will just walk through it. Okay. It just doesn't care. Okay. I thought it would, like, slide around it, but I guess that's not how it works with the way the tweens work. The tween is probably just moving the entire object. Let me see what happens with the collision. I don't... It better not be like the animation of, like... Okay, yeah, the player... It just kind of... does that. Ah, but you can see what's happening here as well. Because I haven't changed the manual direction. So when the player goes this way, you see the direction is still facing right. It doesn't really matter in the case of a cutscene, but that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, I think we made some good progress. But we'll wrap it up there. 3 hours of game dev, and I actually made progress. And I think this is first time success. Thank you. Thank you all. I was not too keen about the idea of streaming game dev at first, but I said, fuck it. I'm gonna see what happens. I won't know until I try. And yeah, I did things I didn't think I would. Do I need to call that, actually? Sorry, I'm starting to notice things like, do I need that unique? Is that called? I can't remember. No, it's not. revoke unique name. It doesn't need it. Yeah. Cool. I'm happy. I'm excited. My brain is a bit too on right now, so even when I end the stream, I might... Oh, sorry, I accidentally clicked something. Oh, wait. My monitor is giving me a warning. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's been difficult the last couple of weeks, partly because I just have too much going on. And whilst I appreciate people popping into the stream, the numbers were pretty like 1 or 2 last week. And that stuff was fine. I didn't have an issue with that. My thing was that my brain was saying, okay, you should be doing game dev or other things. What is the thing I need to prioritize most here? And if not many people are watching my streams, that's not a bad thing. It's just telling me that I should probably be focused on the game dev side of things more, as opposed to the playing random games and trying to build a following from that alone. Best viewers on boostninja.online. Sorry. Bot came into my chat. But yeah, it's a complicated question because I don't want to be like weird entitled, like, oh, there should be more people watching my streams. It's more, I want to, when I'm doing streams, I do as a means to wind down to some extent. I guess what I'm saying is that my brain I was having a bad brain week, and a part of me was like, you should be working on games, and your viewers would be perfectly fine with that. Instead of, I think for me it was more, I'm telling myself I'm not doing enough, even though I know that's not really the point of why I stream to begin with. There's always a balance to be had, like most things in life. Yeah, basically that. It's tricky. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I don't get enough viewers, people should follow me and watch all my streams. It's more, when I'm doing that and I notice I haven't got many viewers, the creative side of my brain's like, hey, you probably should just end the stream and like work on games or work on something productive. And yeah, that's kind of how my brain functions a lot. Like, a lot of my bad brain days are usually when I try to wind down or if I don't do anything for a whole day. I have talked about this at length before, but when I first got into game dev, it was very, very hard to get into a routine of doing it. And once I did, I created the opposite problem where I am unable to relax. Yeah, actually, that's probably a better way to put it. You know, when I'm off stream and I choose to have a day to myself and play games and relax, I always feel bad. Like, I should be doing something productive or something towards my dreams and goals and aspirations. And when I'm streaming, I also sometimes get that. It's kind of a weird, like, stalemate problem where I'm just, like, not sure what I should be doing. And the thing I need to remind myself is that everyone who watches my streams are cool people who are very relaxed and chill. And no one's, like, getting mad at the way I do things. And I already know that all my viewers are supportive of my game dev endeavors, basically. So I'll be doing a lot more of these, I think, because I want to get more game dev done, as opposed to procrastinating and then panicking over if I should be doing game dev, if I should be doing my art studies, or if I should be doing or playing, or just streaming in general, you know? That'll blend it all. But yeah, thank you. I see what you mean. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you can understand. I hope everyone understands. Yeah, don't want to worry people. That's my end goal here, and I want to create something that people will like. This is just a singular sprite with like just a UI, but I have a bunch of other sprites that I want to use. So this week I'll be spending it on doing this. My next stream date will be Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. Yeah, it will be Friday, I think. Same time. No, it'll probably be an hour earlier. Because Fridays I finish at 4 in my work hours, so I will be able to do an hour earlier than usual. So I'll be doing another one of these, but between now and then I'm going to be focused on more game dev. And I'm trying to... I can't make videos yet. I'm trying to write scripts for the videos and then make the videos. So I'll be doing video content in the future as well. So in terms of my general schedule for playing games, that's on hold for a bit, and I hope that's okay. For now, it's just I need to like focus on the games. The focus on the game dev stuff. And you know, like I said, I was pretty apprehensive about doing this stream until I told myself I gotta fucking do it and just see what happens. And I'll probably be doing the same with video content. Great, I've waffled on enough, but thank you. I hope you all have a lovely day, afternoon, morning, night, evening, wherever and whenever you may be, and we'll catch up on Friday. Thanks again. I feel a lot better. Genuinely. It means a lot. You'll have a good one. Thank you, Paves. Thank you, everyone. We'll catch up soon. And we'll see you on Friday. Oh, thank you too, Backslash. Thank you, everyone.